Alrighty, time for a weekly outlook. Well, we did one earlier. Recorded that one, but it was like an hour long, and I babbled a lot and was looking for levels at that point. So we'll do a shorter one here. Just to summarize everything. We'll talk a little bit about last week. We had an outside week, and once we broke away from value, once we broke out, you just kept one time framing up. 1, 2, 3, 4 sessions in a row. The deepest pullback you got after that break was only to like the halfback of the prior session. You'll see on both ES and NQ, right? That purple letter is your halfback, your 50% of that RTH session. That was really the deepest pullback you got, and it happened twice. This on Wednesday and Friday, right? Came near it, and I believe the same thing on NQ. Pretty close. All right, okay, let me unmerge this. NQ actually didn't even touch halfback of a prior session once. So the question for this week is like, does that trend continue? Do we just keep seeing? I don't know if we even call it a melt up yet. I think the melt up's yet to come, just macro wise and positioning wise. I think it's still yet to come. But do we get those same characteristics we saw last week into this week? Looks like they want to do it already, right? We're looking at just Globex action. It had some levels established here, but you're already seeing reactions off of them and kind of already working higher. And I usually don't get involved on Sundays unless sellers force me to. So I didn't get involved. Since we're already reacting nicely off these, like at least on Monday, I'm probably going to be looking to play reclaims of these levels because these levels are a tad weak. Both on ES and NQ. I'm really just marking off Friday's upper distribution, right, with these two levels up here. In terms of the line in the sand for buyers to stay bullish, the deepest pullback I'd like to see is down into the 6200 to 05, which marks off Friday's value area low and Thursday's highs on ES and NQ, sort of that same area. Value area low on Friday, Thursday's highs, Thursday's point of control. The one time framing up on the daily wouldn't necessarily end there, but sellers have a chance to maybe step in and the one time framing up, put it into a balance, and then we'll see what happens from there. Right? Can sellers establish value below those sessions, below whatever session we get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever it may be? But yeah, we'll take it day to day once that happens, right? Because at that point the question becomes, okay, do you go into a balance, or does this breakout fail and you go back test the breakout level, which is quite a ways below us now? So bigger picture, really not much to like talk about. No more levels above us except for like extension levels, which we've already hit. At least the ones I have, right? I just took 100% extensions of this balance here and this one down here. We've already hit those. Actually, no, there's the 200% extension, right? Anchored VWAP off the low, if we're just looking at the bands of those, still got room, right? Usually I end up grinding up against, I believe this is the second standard deviation. We could probably do one off the open just to make sure we're not breaching any of them. I don't think we should be. All right, you don't spend too much time outside of it. This one we're not even out of. The one off the low, we still got a little bit room higher. Right. Same goes for NQ. NQ, that's your line in the sand. Let's have some balance extensions up here. Past this, I have nothing. So we'll be targeting some IB extensions once we get the IB, and we'll be working off those. If we don't pull back into Friday's range, let's say we gap, looks like we're going to gap higher, and I'll probably look to just get positioned up against the 5-minute opening range, or an anchored VWAP up against something, whether it's today's open or like a pullback we get later tonight, whatever it may be. Probably look to get long off of one of those, target these last upside targets, and I think a short's possibly in play, but I would be patient and wait for the IB to be established, your A and B period, and then look to work off of those highs and lows. Meaning we could, let's say you have your IB high, IB low. If we, let's say, get going and this fails back under, right? Pretty bearish sign at that point. Possible. We sort of, well, actually, we didn't get that on a Friday, but we did trade back into A period highs and sort of saw a little crack right alongside some headlines that did take us a little lower. So I'd wait for this opportunity where you have your IB highs, IB lows, or you can just wait to be patient to see it crack IB lows before looking to get short. Okay, and once sellers break levels as of late, they have not been able to take control. Even in like the short term, like you get under levels that like as a buyer I don't want to be losing, and sellers just can't take the wheel. That level ends up getting reclaimed, and then we end up getting long again. That's sort of been what's happening as of late, back under key levels, and really been seeing it for, I want to say, like a month now, right? Even within this balance, you broke key levels. Sellers never really could make anything of it, right? Even in this one and this one. So yeah, we'll stay long. Look for long opportunities. Once we're below, like we'll have one line in the sand going into each session of okay, like what do we want to hold as a buyer to continue being uber bullish, and looking for an immediate continuation higher. Below that, are sellers or buyers really in trouble? No, not necessarily. As long as the one time framing up is intact, stay bullish. And once that ends, okay, now we go into, okay, do we go into balance or do we fail and trade lower? And at that point, we'll have some more hints and some more levels and hopefully some value established somewhere that we can work off of to better prepare ourselves for the following session. So I think that's what we'll work with. In terms of equities, I'm not watching anything. Last week we added Google, which was a really, really nice ad. Right, we added off of this. I know we talked about it last week. Did really well into Friday's close off of a headline and the MOC. Don't know. The question now is like, okay, with equities, do you long up here? I still think it's doable. I still think the melt up is coming. But it's like, do you really want to be buying AMD 100% off the lows, or Nvidia, 80% off lows? Or do you want to be buying like now, do you want to be buying laggards, right? And it's tough because like you had to get yourself in the situation, right? I've been harping this idea of not trimming and continuously adding into this, and it's paid off. Like now I'm in a situation where I can just enjoy this rally. In terms of like short to medium term, even my long term positions, very comfortable holding them, and have extra capital to throw on names like this on decent dips, right? Like so, the names that I've run, software, hardware, some small caps I've run too, right? Hard to get into now, but it's still doable. You're just gonna get less return. So it's up to you. Like whether do you want to be buying a laggard in hopes that it goes up? That's sort of what we did with Google, right back here. Maybe you can work off of this 176, right? If we do get a pullback to this shelf here, and actually we can include this session or this section now. It's still there, right? That shelf there. So we'll be watching this for an immediate continuation higher in Google. Looks like we're going to gap up, but if we do get a pullback this week, I'd like to see this 177 hold. and in a place where I think people can get in, right? That's not a chart that looks like freaking Nvidia or AMD. That's Microsoft, right? I don't know if you want to be buying Microsoft up here. um, so Google's one on like maybe a slight pullback. Nebius was one I was looking to get into last week. I didn't pull the trigger last week. I might do it this week. Looks like we're already opening up here. Opening with a little gap up. I'm going to be watching this 153 because I don't think we've closed like a 15-minute candle above it. Except for pre-market. Or yeah, we haven't like really closed a 15-minute candle above it except for this first time that it got over. So we'll be watching this 153 for a 15 or 30-minute candle close. Trying to get bid up against it. If we do get that, you know, I was thinking of just buying it on the open Monday and just risking Friday's lows. I like this test of the point of control right here. We'll move this back so it doesn't include that volume, right? I love that test. I should have seen it then, didn't. So I'm trying to get involved now. So we'll be working off 150, or not one. We'll be working off 53 for that like higher, and I think that's like the one and only position I may look to get into this week. Last week I was looking at Mongo DB. Didn't trade much. It didn't trade into the area I wanted. I wanted it in the 190s, 191s. Didn't quite get it. I think that might be it in terms of equities. I think we just remain long. Melt up's yet to come, in my opinion. Right? I know it might sound crazy, but you'll hear more and more people say the melt up is coming. Right? I told you the melt up was coming back here. So right, end of April, I told you, and we've been adding long. So uh, tough up here after you see equities do make that kind of run in a week. So I'll leave you guys at that, and hope y'all have a wonderful week.